Go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of What's Going Down live right here on YouTube. I am, of course, your host, big time Jimmy Larson, and of course, my co-host is here as well, Mr. CT Bishop. How you doing today?
Brother, I am tired as heck today. That's all I gotta say. I am tired as heck. And you know what? I think the only thing that kept me going all day today was the podcast. Making sure that I stay, that I had everything done before the podcast. Make sure that I stay up for the podcast. That I don't fall asleep on you, and all people here would hear is me snoring on the air.
Well, I know every time I went today to try and talk to you about our format, every time you were asleep. Last couple of nights, even trying to get in contact with you. Oh, he's in bed. So you've been a lot tired lately.
Yeah, no, just life. Life, dealing with life, and making sure that I get things done. With all the production stuff that I do. From my own videos to to at the movies to any other side projects that I get here and there. It's just people don't know how tiring it does get, and then of course everyday family life. Walking my dogs and cleaning up and just everything in general. So it's
Yeah,
really bit
life can
weird.
definitely get crazy, and
Yep.
that's why we celebrate life every year that we're still here.
Yep.
And speaking of which,
Yep.
I want to wish a happy sixth birthday to my friend Dominic, who turned 6 years old yesterday. So happy birthday, Dominic.
Cumpleaños, Dominic. Happy birthday. Want me to sing it too?
That's
Cumple,
on you. I don't sing, and they know it.
cumpleaños feliz. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dominic. Happy birthday to you. There you go, buddy.
Enjoy your cake. It looked good.
Yep.
It
Shoot, I wish I had some cake. What was an ice cream cake, right?
was ice cream cake,
Yep.
apparently. Yes.
Nice.
I did have brownies yesterday for my birthday. We made them a little bit late, but we had some brownies with peanut butter cups in the center.
Ooh, yum.
I got a whole bunch left over.
Hey, I'm gonna have to cash app you some money so you can FedEx it to me.
You'll be banging on my door at midnight tonight.
Boom, boom, boom.
Where's
Oh,
my brownie?
no, for no, oh, no, but brownies and with the peanut butter cups and
And speaking of banging on people's doors,
yes.
this year, of course, there won't be a lot of banging on people's doors because people can't be going out with this virus that's going on. So you can spend your Halloween with us. Halloween is on a
Yay.
Saturday this year,
Yep.
and the What's Going Down podcast will be going live. However,
Mhm.
we will be doing a different format. It won't be a radio broadcast, it'll be a live video chat. You'll see both
Ah.
myself and CT Bishop in full costumes. What will we be wearing? Tune in to
Whoa.
find out.
You know.
If you want to be a part of this show,
Yep.
we are making this fully interactive as you can chat with us live during the broadcast, and you can send in your pictures of you and your family in costume, and we will have a contest. What will you win? We don't know yet, but here's where you can send them in, and you can also send us questions for today's show or send us pics. Where can they send them?
All right, so if you're listening right on the YouTube app, you go to the description box below and you look at our email. What's going down today at gmail.com. That's what's going down today at gmail.com, and we will be sure to show your pictures and just really display the awesome costumes. And you know what? I think would be a really cool idea. Besides parents and kids, if you have a pet, you have a dog, you have a cat, you have a pet that you like to dress up for Halloween. Send those pictures as well. I think anything goes as long as there's nothing naughty. right?
Yes, no naughty images, no flipping us. We want to see your pets, but we do not want you to see you flipping us your birds.
I mean, we like birds, but not that type. I'm sorry.
We like the planetarium, but please do not show us your moon.
We like outer space, but please do not show us Uranus.
We love fruits and vegetables, but leave your melons put away.
And that goes the same for your eggplants.
Well,
Okay.
actually, let's just say they won't be on the air.
Yeah. But
But anyway,
but if somebody decides to be rude and send us something, I have no quarrel about making one of my blog videos on my series channel and displaying it there and say this person showed us their stuff. Of course.
and if you send us your eggplant, you will be shamed all over the internet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have no quarrels about that. If you do that, any naughty pictures.
I have a I have a friend who does this to go off format for a second. I have a friend who told me every time somebody sends her those types of pictures,
Yeah.
whenever guys will ask her for pictures, they'll always say, "Hey, can you send some pictures?" And she'll send them the pictures she was sent from other people.
Oh gosh.
Like, here you go. And they don't bug her again.
Oh my gosh. It's
But anyway,
no, no, no. Actually, I have a couple friends that they'll do something similar. They'll do something similar. I mean, and this is going a little bit off topic, right? But I've been a part
don't
of.
keep it. I just don't want to go crazy because I don't know if our little viewer is still listening either. So
Okay.
and
uh,
that just ended that conversation,
no,
ladies
no,
and
no, no,
gentlemen.
no, no. It's just I saw no, I saw the comment from Melissa. She says, "Yay, feliz cumpleaños, Dominic! Great singing." No, but no, I'm just saying I've been a part of different Facebook groups for a while and what have you, and every time I'm in a Facebook group, some of these ladies they are complaining about these guys harassing them and sending them their pics of their stuff, and it's just very, very, it's very inappropriate. It's right there, it's sexual harassment, and a lot of times these female friends of mine they will tell me, hey, this guy did this, that, and the other. So what I end up doing memes and videos, and I post it in the group to humiliate these guys that are doing what they're doing. So hey, if people are gonna do that, guess what? You know what? You more than likely there's
You
gonna
get
be
publicly
somebody.
shamed.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I have no problem about it with it. So anyway, on
So
back
as
to
he
the show.
said, that's the email. Also, as he said, you can, I believe he said that you can comment in the chat as well, as
Yeah.
people have already been doing.
Hmm.
And did you mention the Discord? I did not mention to hear that one today.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we have a Discord server. If anybody's familiar with the Discord is basically like a huge chat room that you can download into your mobile device onto your desktop or laptop, however way that you get online. You can download Discord, and I have an invitation link for the Discord server in the description box below. So if you want to send us pictures of your pets or yourself and your kids, and wearing the Halloween costumes, I'll gladly take it from the Discord server as well, and and I will share it in the video, as well as if you have any questions and you don't want to do it through the email but through the Discord server, again, feel free to just send us questions there. And for those people
Yes.
that are listening, just one last thing, those people that are listening after this live broadcast, if you weren't part of the live feed, then leave your questions in the comments. Leave your comments in the comments. We want to hear some feedback on how you think we did, where we can improve, and any questions you may have.
And after the broadcast, if you haven't had enough of us, you can catch me at the Big Time Jimmy Larson channel, also linked in the description, where you can check out my newest show, At the movies, we are in week 7 of my movie review show. Yesterday, we added another review because it is spooky month, where I am
Ooh.
reviewing Halloween movies. And this week, I reviewed Ernest Scared Stupid. Now, unlike any other review you've ever seen, this one is not like any of them.
Nope.
As for the first time, you will see that I do not put Trantor de Troll as the villain of the movie. Check it out and see what I mean. You can also check out CT Bishop. Where can they check you out?
Well, you can check me out on my YouTube channel, my YouTube channel for Josue Skits. That's in the description box below, as well as Tuesday Night Tussle. So if you want to check out some cool, funny comedy skits, go down to Josue Skits channel or to the Tuesday Night Tussle because we make fun of every fight. We make fun of every fight. People, they post their fights online. Guess what? I take the video, I put it in, and as like a WWE style commentary type thing, and I make fun of it. Why? Because these people are stupid for doing what they're doing. So if you want to laugh, hey, cool. And if you want to catch some cool skits between myself and Big Time Jimmy Larson, check the archives. Check the archives. Check the archives, especially during the Christmas time when Big Time Jimmy Larson was saved by Santa.
After being kidnapped by a stalker. And we do not encourage you to send in your fights to that channel or we will not show them on the air either.
No, no, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't.
On a more serious note, I do want to send quick well wishes to a friend of ours, one of our former photographers for both. I think she photographed for your company as well, but our good friend Siege is in the hospital with COVID-19, and we want to send well wishes to her and hope on a speedy recovery for her. I know that she's been strong all these years to be dealing with all those big wrestlers standing around her and harassing her at ringside while trying to take their photos. So I know she can beat this one as well. Let's hope that she gets through this quickly.
Yep, I'm definitely keeping her in my prayers. I'm definitely gonna be praying for a speedy recovery for, so she gets this done and over with fast. And you know what, Siege, get better soon. And you got our support, you got our love, and just get better as soon as you can.
Yes, and anybody who is a praying person can keep her in your prayers as well. We go from that bad news to bad movies. Today, we are going to discuss movies that we just plain don't like
Yeah.
for one reason or the other. And we'll see where this goes, as this is pretty much an open discussion. And again, if you have any questions or comments or want to bring up a movie and want to hear us talk about it, put it in the chat and it'll get in there today. This is an open forum.
Yep. So any bad movies? Okay.
I know how to start us off because I just finished watching a bad movie.
Yes. Go right ahead.
I am working on next week's review a little early.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching a movie that, as a kid, I used to love this movie. I have not watched it in a few years, but hey, let's do this review and check it out again. As I was watching a TV movie with Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, Double Toil and Trouble. And like I said, if you want to see my full review on this, it will be posted next Friday night at the Big Time Jimmy Larson channel. My God, no. There's some things I will not talk about on that review, so let's talk about them here. This movie would not fly today. I cannot believe, I do not remember this, but this movie is so racist. It is crazy.
Yeah.
It's every bad stereotype about little people. There's a little person who's a clown, and he happens to live in a little home in the woods like a fairy tale, but and he's got a mirror that's one of those mirrors that you see in the circus that makes you look big.
Yeah. And
he stands in front of it wishing he was big. So as he actually says, I wish I were normal. So they're saying little people aren't normal. And then Mary Kate and Ashley are just little kids. They're not little people. And they go, we're little too. And it's like, oh my goodness, you gotta be kidding me. And
Uh,
then it gets worse.
yep.
In the opening, we see a pumpkin carving contest, and there's an Asian girl with an Asian pumpkin that has the eyes cut like Siamese. I'm like, what am I watching? And then it gets worse. The only African American person in this movie happens to be, by the way, and this will be mentioned in the review, the guy who plays Hollywood in the Mannequin movies.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen the Mannequin movies?
I seen the mannequin movies. I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember names right now, as I'm tired.
Well, that'll be the next thing we talk about too in a minute, because
Yeah.
I want to bring up Mannequin 2. There's a bad movie, so we'll bring that up in a minute. But he plays Hollywood in the Mannequin movies. Was the best thing he was known for. But in this movie, I'm not even kidding. They call him Mr. N. And
yeah, I remember that now.
I'm not even going to tell you why that's racist. If you can't figure that out, there's something wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that movie itself, along with many other Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movies, right? Again, this was them really building their empire around the end of Full House and after Full House.
This was during Full House.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like towards that time in Full House. And
they were
after.
still little kids. This was 1993.
No, but that's what I said. This was towards.
Yeah, I gotcha. They were building their empire.
Yeah.
Cloris Leachman at one point, I swear to God, she actually says that no good N guy.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm just
like,
no, yeah. I mean, I'm saying, you know, so going back, right?
And then she turns him into a crow.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, I think a lot of the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movies were terrible, you know, but this one took the cake. You know, this one definitely.
I loved it back in the day, and there's still some things that, which is why I'm still doing the review. There's and I'm not going to mention everything because I don't want to give away my review, but there's some things that I absolutely loved still to this day. It's still freaking hilarious. I still laugh my butt off. Oh, but some of it, it's just like, how did they get away with this?
All right. So Melissa says bad movies people in this room told me are The Blob, Dragon Ball Evolution, and Home Alone 3.
Oh boy, she mentioned a Dragon Ball movie being bad. I hope Al's not watching.
Okay, well,
he loves Dragon Ball.
Well, no, I mean, I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball. I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball myself. I am, and as a big fan of Dragon Ball, you know, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z Kai, you know, everything. I was extremely disappointed with Dragon Ball Evolution. Um, a lot of things could have been done way better. Not just, I mean, graphics wise, it was okay, I guess. You know, I mean, you know, but they could have done way better. It's like, you know, when you're a Dragon Ball, like any anime fan, right? Any anime fan, you're into anime, and they're gonna make a movie, and you expect them to shell out a ton of cash and, you know, get really great actors and voice actors and whatever, right, for these movies. And then it didn't come out as good as it should have. It's just extremely disappointing. And I definitely gotta agree with Home Alone 3 being really bad. Ever since they got
Home Alone 3 was bad, but it was better than Home Alone 4 and 5.
No, I agree. You know, ever since Macaulay Culkin left the franchise, you know, and it wasn't even supposed to be a franchise originally, from what I was told. But ever since
No, it wasn't. One movie. That was it. One and done.
Yeah. So, but after Home Alone 2, and when, you know, he didn't come back for Home Alone 3 and all that, it just went downhill. It wasn't the same.
Well, 4, the problem was they actually brought back Marv, but it wasn't played by Daniel Stern. He was played by French Stewart.
Yeah, no, and that's another problem with it. Well, how are you gonna?
And it's like, don't bring back characters if you're not going to get the same actor.
No, yeah, you know, I agree.
Why couldn't he play a new character?
You know, I mean,
ironically, by the way, interesting tie-in to that. And this is actually a bad movie. That's one of those movies that's so bad it's great. I love this freaking movie, but there was another movie that was supposed to be part of Home Alone franchise, but it wasn't made by the same people, and they were trying to purchase the rights to make it a Home Alone sequel.
Hmm.
There was a movie called Bushwhacked,
Oh,
which had Daniel Stern.
I heard about that.
I love that movie, by the way. It's so great. But Daniel Stern was supposed to reprise his role as Marv. It was supposed to be that him. He got out of prison before Harry,
Hmm.
because Harry was the mastermind, and he decides to turn his life around, and everything just keeps going wrong for him. And if you ever watch Bushwhacked, you'll see where this movie would totally fit in that storyline of this being Marv, and
Hmm.
everything keeps going wrong as he's trying to go straight, because it is about a guy who was in prison and now he's trying to go straight, and it's the same concept. It's just they had to change the character name and pretend that, okay, he's not Marv, he's just a new character, which works as well. It didn't need to be a Home Alone thing, and it's just a really good family movie with a lot of things not for families, but it's also a
Right.
good family movie. It's really funny.
I mean, I unfortunately haven't seen it yet, but so it's gonna have to be on my
Um,
list.
if you ever wanted to see an adult teach children about the birds and the bees using Barbie dolls and giving all the graphic reenactment using these dolls, this is the movie for you.
uh, I'm definitely gonna have to put that on my list of movies to watch.
Then the man has a cigarette, watches a little Leno, and goes off to sleep. It's such a good movie. I gotta watch that again. That's got to be reviewed eventually on my show as well, because it's just so good.
Motherfucker.
But anyway, I was saying one movie I wanted to mention
Hmm.
was Mannequin 2, but I'll even mention Mannequin because Mannequin is one of those movies that has. So, and I was actually working on a remake for it, so I was writing, but I didn't finish it. But I was writing a screenplay for a remake
Hmm.
of Mannequin. I'm so tired of remakes, but that's one movie they really need to remake,
Hmm.
because have you ever seen Mannequin? You said that you did, but
Yeah,
you said you didn't remember it.
no, I've seen Mannequin and Mannequin 2. I don't remember all of it. I do remember the premise. I do remember, the
Mannequin has
endings
such
and
a great concept,
yeah.
and it's poorly executed.
Oh yeah. I mean, you.
And I'm not even talking about the performances, because I thought that there's three people in that movie, or four if you count Hollywood, because Hollywood was good in his own way.
Hmm.
He was the flamboyant hairstylist,
Hmm.
who was also in this Mary Kate and Ashley movie. But Andrew McCarthy was great.
Hmm.
Kim Basinger was great, and G.W. Bailey was great. Everybody else is horrible in the movie, and the story just does not play the way it should.
Hmm.
And not meaning that not the way I thought it should, just not the way it should. It turns into a mess.
I think. I
I
think.
don't know. I think that if rewritten and remade, that movie can be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the funniest moments in the movie is towards the end when the police get involved and she's fully human, and they say, oh, and we're gonna charge him for attempted murder because he tried to kill me. And then the guy's like, but she's a mannequin. She was a mannequin. Like, I think that's one of the funniest parts of the movie in itself that made it really good to
Oh,
watch.
definitely. And one thing that even if I did happen to somehow magically get to make this remake,
Mhm.
I would keep the song in there from Starship.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, I agree with that.
That song is just amazing. That's the best part of the movie is that song.
No, I mean, there's a lot of great movies. There's a lot of great movies from the past that
And yeah, Mannequin 2, the less said about that, the better. The only person who returned was Hollywood,
Mhm.
and it wasn't good at all.
that it
There's a
was
lot of
disappointing.
sequels like that I like to forget exist, like Die Hard 5, aka Good Day to Die Hard. I don't like to even admit that movie exists.
No, yeah, I mean, and that's what I was gonna get to, is that there was a lot of great movies back then, and if there was a sequel, the sequel really it sucked, or if they made
Not
it.
always.
Well, I'm saying within the realm of what we're talking about movie that sucks. Like I said, it's just some of the sequels like really sucked, or like with what they're doing now with some of the remakes that they're doing, and the remakes suck, and it takes away from the original reason why people loved the original movie in the first place. And Melissa just says Mannequin One is great. Loved Hollywood and still Getty's role in in the movie. Mannequin Two isn't great. I agree. Lost Highway is my terrible movie choice.
Did you say she liked Mannequin too?
No, she says isn't is not great. Isn't.
Oh, okay. I heard that wrong. Thank
Yeah,
God.
yeah. No, no, but it's a matter of what the heck were they thinking when they were writing the script for Mannequin Two. You
Did
know,
they write a script for Mannequin 2?
I just
I don't think the movie has a script.
I just think they wrote random words down on different pieces of paper, and they like taped it to the wall and threw darts, and that's how they wrote the script because there's no way they made enough time and effort to actually write a script for it.
And then there's times that sequels, for some reason, actually are popular
Mhm.
when they're horrible.
Yep.
And I think the biggest example of that
Mhm.
is Rush Hour 3. It shows up on so many people's favorite sequels list, and I'm sitting here like, why? What's your take on Rush Hour 3?
I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. You know, it's
You like
okay.
it, don't you?
No, I mean, I'm not saying I do. I'm not saying I don't. I had no opinion on it, man. I don't. I can't say I do. I can't say that I don't. You know, I mean, for the first Rush Hour was my favorite.
I like the second one better, but
the
the first
second.
one's great. I'm not bad mouth the first one. It's great.
Yeah. So I mean, and the second one, it was good as well. It was the third one. I can't say I hate it or I love it. I just don't have an opinion. Period. I'm not gonna.
I hated everything about the third one. I didn't like anything. I thought the only stuff that was funny
Mhm.
was rehashed from the first and second one, and you don't need it. Just go rewatch those ones. And everything else was bad.
I
They
think.
even give us that scene with the giant Baba type guy, which might have actually been Giant Baba. I don't remember it. I don't feel like looking it up.
Mhm.
But I think he was already passed on. I don't think it was actually Giant Baba.
Mhm.
But that scene just reminded me so much of the scene from Bad News Bears Go to Japan, which was also horrible. There's another bad sequel. Bad News Bears Go to Japan.
No, I mean, when it comes down to three, and like I said, I don't have an opinion. That's it. I think that, I think, uh, like you said, that they try to rehash jokes from the first two. Uh, it's like they didn't know they wanted to do a three, but they didn't know how to. I guess they were trying to outdo one and two, but they couldn't.
Well, the
So.
problem too was that it was Chris Tucker, because originally the script for three, which was gonna take place shortly after two,
Mhm.
in two they talk about going on this vacation,
Mhm.
and they were supposed to start three with that vacation. It was going to be the whole movie was going to take place there, but because they waited over 10 years because they couldn't get the money up that Chris Tucker was asking,
Mhm.
they finally just used the opening scene of three as them coming back from that vacation. And I'm like, wait, are you seriously trying to play this off that they're the same age when they're 10 years older?
Mhm.
And that's what ruined it.
I mean, some of the jokes that Chris Tucker made, it was just, like some of the raunchy jokes when he was telling, when he was telling Jackie's character of, I'm trying to get some mushu, you know.
Well, I know that was the second one, the Mushu.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm trying to remember one of the jokes he made. Like I said, I'm tired. So, but no. But
It's all right.
yeah. But no. But the whole point is that um, they had nothing. They really had nothing in terms of the script.
I have an unpopular opinion for you.
Go ahead.
Chris Tucker
Mhm.
is like the Black Pauly Shore. He's a one-directional character, one-dimensional. Excuse me. Now I'm getting tired. What the heck?
Mhm.
One-dimensional character. He is funny because of his voice and his antics,
Mhm.
but it got stale fast. It worked in Dead Presidents. It worked in House Party. It worked in the music video that he did with Tupac and them, the California Love. It worked there. Friday was where it peaked, and I think everybody would agree on that. Friday it peaked, and then he took it to Money Talks, and it still kind of worked because he played off Charlie Sheen, and it was kind of funny.
Mhm.
So it was like, okay, it's still good. It's still good. It's like Homer with the pig. It's still good. It's still good.
Right.
But
It's just a little dirty. It's
then
still
Rush Hour came,
good. Yep.
and Rush Hour worked because it's him and Jackie Chan. Now he's got a new person to play off. By Rush Hour 2, it's starting to get really stale. And it's like, okay, Chris, you're not the star anymore. The only reason to watch Rush Hour 2 is to watch Chris make a fool of himself and to watch Jackie's amazing stunts.
Yeah.
And by Rush Hour 3, Jackie had gotten to a point where he can't do those stunts anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So he was not going to be able to carry Chris through another movie if Chris played the same character, which is exactly what he did.
Well, hey, if you think about it, when he did Fifth Element with Bruce Willis, right?
I haven't seen that, so I can't judge that one.
Okay. When he did Fifth Element with Bruce Willis, it was a minor role. It was a minor role. His character did not come in until I want to say almost about halfway through the movie, if not a little earlier. But he was not the main character. He was like a bit part, and with the character that he did, in that movie, it was like he was trying to outdo everybody with the way that he does his regular portrayal of whatever. He's
I was
allowed.
going to say, I'm going out on a limb here, but I guarantee you he probably did the same exact act again.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
He's not an actor. Everybody calls this guy an actor. He is no different than your sideshow clown at the circus who does the same act every night for a new set of audience. The problem is when you're doing that in a movie, your audience, it gets bored. It doesn't want to see the same thing every night.
He's a stand-up comedian trying to do acting, and
it happens with wrestlers too, like Adrian Neville.
Yeah,
the guy has the same match every single night. I don't care. I've seen your act. I'm done. It was cool, but now I don't even like it anymore because you killed it.
No, and that's the thing. It's like Chris Tucker. He's a comedian. Okay. Now, if he just wants to do comedic movies where, he can look like a joke or whatever, a comedic movie where he can do his comedy style. Okay, I can understand that. But if you're trying to get into a serious movie, like and do not realize that you are just the comic relief. You're not a big part. You're just a small part, and you're trying to outshine everybody by doing the same stuff that you do every movie, every show, every whatever. People get tired of that. Like you said, people do get tired of that. And
well, like his audience keeps begging him to come back for Friday, and I'm like, why? It's not going to be any good with him in Friday again either. If that movie comes out and actually finally gets made, which it's been rumored for over 20 years, it's not going to be good because Tucker can't act.
I mean, he was just, he was the loud friend. He was the loud friend in Friday.
And I'll tell you, this is another unpopular opinion, but in my opinion, Friday After Next is funnier than Friday.
Well, I mean,
I'll take
say,
Cat Williams and Terry Crews and Mike Epps over Chris Tucker any day.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. But here's the thing: Friday was not meant to be a comedy movie.
Oh, I know that. The first one it wasn't, but then the second and third were.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, the first one for being a serious movie and about being.
Well, I wouldn't say it was serious. It was a comedy as well. It's just that it had more serious tone to it, but it was mainly a comedy.
It was just I don't know. Being from the hood and things like that. To me, I consider it as just a serious role.
See, to me, Ice Cube was trying to branch off because he had just made the serious role about the hood called Boys in the Hood.
Mm-hmm.
And now he was trying to branch that, take some of the dramatic elements from that, but mix it with comedy. Because if you're going to say that Friday wasn't fully a comedy, come on.
Not fully,
From
not fully.
Johnny Witherspoon getting bit on the butt by the dog, little Mr. Parker chasing after Bernie Mac.
No,
Come on,
no, that
it's
was funny.
comedy, dude.
No, that those parts were funny. You know, you have to
My
give them.
Felicia, you know.
No, but then
My
with
grandmama gave me that chain.
right,
I can
what
quote
chain?
Friday all day.
Right. No, but I mean, it's you know when you get into it, and it's actually it's actually a good social commentary on the way it was in the hood and the way it still is in the hood in many areas. So I think the comedic relief was needed for it. It's like if you take a look at all the barbershop movies that Ice Cube made. It's like
Barbershops were okay. They weren't bad. The first one was the best one out of that series, though.
no, I agree. I agree, and I'm not
The
gonna.
ATM scene.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Funniest thing ever. They're trying to steal an ATM.
And then come to find out it wasn't even loaded.
Yeah, it was empty.
No, but I mean,
But see, like, everybody calls Chris Tucker the comic relief of
yeah,
Friday. And to me, no.
I
That was
th-
Ezel.
I th- no, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I gotta say that because
Ezel was funnier.
no, I agree. And then the small parts that John Witherspoon had in the
Oh,
movie as
Johnny
well.
Witherspoon was just. There's an actor that just is so amazing. And he passed away, I think, last year.
Yep.
But, so yeah, even that's another reason the new Friday won't work because it won't even have him. But
I
on the
mean,
Wayans Brothers, he was great.
I mean, it would have the new Friday movie. It would have to start with with Pops's funeral. To
Yeah, and
give him
at the funeral, no dogs allowed signs.
right.
See,
No,
Ice Cube should contact me to help him write this.
right. No, but I mean, no, but you're right. As far as John Witherspoon, I mean, and everything that he does, everything that he does, he gets into it. His facial expressions, especially when
Oh,
he,
you want to see his best facial expressions? Watch Little Nicky.
oh yeah, oh yeah, no, I agree.
When he's got the smallest part, and yet he steals the whole scene.
Yep. Oh no, I
You want to
agree.
see some crazy eyes? I'll show you some crazy eyes.
Yeah, I know.
I love Johnny Witherspoon, man. He was so good in everything.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
I can't name a bad movie I can name a bad movie he was in, but I can't name a bad role he ever had.
Yeah, I mean, even if he was in a bad movie, it's not his fault because whatever part he was in, he did it to perfection.
Yeah, if he was in a bad movie, he made his role good, even though the movie was bad. Exactly. And that's the when you know an actor is great when they can do that. And there's a lot of them like that. Mm-hmm. Samuel L. Jackson,
definitely.
He's been in so many bad movies. He's never bad.
You know what I would like to do? What I would like to do just for the fun of it, okay? What I would like to do is I would love to write a movie script, just like on purpose, write a bad movie script, okay?
A bad one.
Yeah, just you remember how they would make fun of William Shatner and the different skits they would do. It was like so far my name, like the way I would love to do a whole movie like that, okay? Where and I would bring in certain actors.
If it's done right, because I mean, look at all these movies. I forget the name of the company, but there's a company that does parody movies, and not one of them is funny.
Oh yeah,
they did Disaster Movie. They did. Oh man, I can't even think of the names of these movies. They did a Twilight parody. They did a Spartan parody that was like a 300 parody.
I think they did a Hunger Games parody.
They did Vampires Suck. That was the name of the Twilight one, but not one of these movies has even one thing in them that's funny. And I swear these guys are doing this on purpose. They're just trying to cash in on what they're parodying, and they know it's not funny because it's not.
Yeah,
and then what's sad is because around the time these movies were coming out, the Scary Movie guys came out with a movie called Superhero Movie.
Yep.
That kind of got tied in with that.
Yep.
And Superhero Movie was actually really good. It was really bad too, but it was also really good because again, parody movie, you have to give it some leeway.
Yeah.
And Leslie Nielsen, it gives like the stellar performance in that
Oh
movie, by the
yeah,
way.
but he's another great actor too. He's another great actor.
He started off as a serious actor and then went totally comedy. And I think the turning point for him was Airplane. I think that was the first real comedy thing he did. And it showed everybody a new side of him. And then he did Police Squad, the TV show,
Yep.
which eventually led to the Naked Gun movies.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, then he got typecast as just this slapstick guy.
Oh yeah. No,
And
and
he did one comedy that nobody's ever heard of,
hmm.
and I love the movie. It's not really totally slapstick for him; it's somewhat, but it was a movie called Rent a Kid.
Yep, yep. I remember.
Did you ever see Rent a Kid?
Yeah, I remember that.
Congratulations! Nobody else ever does, so I'm happy to hear somebody does. But yeah, in Rent a Kid, he's just like this guy who comes up with this. He runs a rental store that rents out glasses and not like that you wear, but that you drink from and stuff. And people are like freaked out like by like the stuff he'll rent out.
Yeah.
And then he gets these kids and he decides, hey, let me rent out the kids because he takes over his brother's adoption agency and just decides to let people rent the kids to see if they want them, and if they don't, they can return them.
Right.
And it's really good.
No, and then you remember in Naked Gun, what is it, 33 and a half? That's what they called it.
Well, it was Naked Gun, Naked Gun 2.5, and then Naked Gun 33 and a third.
Yeah, that's that one. And remember Naked Gun 33 and a third, right? That because he looks so much like Phil Donahue, and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I know where you're going with
yeah.
this.
There was always that. What is Phil Donahue doing? Blah blah. And then at the end, it's like they say a line like next year we're not bringing back Phil Donahue. it's just.
Yeah, 33 and a third is like the worst in the series, but there's some great things in it, like Fred Ward. There's another actor that can play anything, and he made his fame in the Tremors 1 and Tremors 2, but he was great in everything. And Anna Nicole Smith was in that one, and it basically, that was the problem, was that the whole movie wanted to parody the Oscars.
Yep.
And it's like, that's funny to do, but when you base your whole movie, it's like they wrote that first and then wrote a movie around it, and that it was obvious.
Exactly. And that goes to my point from earlier, was that I would love to write a bad movie on purpose, but make it whether there's a parody or whatever, it doesn't matter. But I want to take my time to really do it, so that way it's funny. It is really funny. Yeah. Okay. It's
Absolutely.
and
Well, who follows that method, by the way, of coming up with a movie based on a concept, which, let me just say, if you have a movie that's based on a concept, you'd better come up with the whole movie before you throw it out there, because otherwise your movie's going to suck. And the person who does that all the time is Adam Sandler.
Yeah, definitely.
And two movies come to mind the most of his that did this was Click, which, I'm sorry, but it's a great concept, the whole remote thing. That movie had nothing to do with the freaking remote. It's a concept in the movie, but it's not the story.
Exactly.
There's a problem. And the other one was, I now pronounce Chuck and Larry.
Yep.
You got two concepts. That's not a movie. Don't make a movie unless you have a whole movie. And I don't know, Adam Sandler's fallen into that problem of every movie that he makes now is bad. And then I was so shocked at how good Pixels came out.
Oh yeah, I just saw Pixels the other day too.
I love Pixels. Everybody hates it, but I love it.
I think
that's honestly one of my favorite freaking Adam Sandler movies.
You remember the other day when I made that comment about Peter Dinklage, who we were texting.
That was like a week or so ago, but yeah.
Because it was funny because
Fire Black.
no, it was funny because I was seeing the movie Pixels, and and here comes Peter Dinklage, coming out of prison and whatever, doing his thing, and I was like, that's when the idea popped into my head of about doing that, using Peter Dinklage, right? And then I was like, I saw it again earlier this week, and I was just like, I was thinking about so many different things that that would be funny for Peter Dinklage to do. It's just
he was based on Billy Mitchell.
I did not know that. No.
That's what because they wanted Billy Mitchell. Like Adam Sandler actually contacted Billy Mitchell, and Billy Mitchell turned it down and said, "No, I'm not doing that." So they were like, "We need Billy Mitchell." Now here's the crazy thing on that. I have a segue on that in a minute, but no. So Peter Dinklage, he based his whole character off that being the King of Kong. Think about it. King of Donkey Kong was Billy Mitchell. Billy Mitchell was on AEW last week.
I missed it, so I didn't.
Did you see this?
I did not see it. I missed it.
I didn't see it, but Jim Cornette and Brian talked about it on the drive-thru this week that Billy Mitchell was in a segment with Miro backstage, and like Brian last said, and I agree with him, Billy Mitchell is the greatest heel in the planet, and he's better than anybody on AEW television. And Jim Cornette was like, who was this guy? And Brian's like, oh, it was Billy Mitchell. You never seen the King of Kong, and Jim hadn't. So Jim actually said, and this is something that I can't wait for, Jim said, oh, I'll watch the movie if somebody sends it to me. And I guess like hundreds of people from the cult, which I follow the cult on Facebook even, they sent the DVD now. So Jim's going to sit down and watch The King of Kong and review it with Brian eventually. And I can't wait.
Melissa just
You've seen The King of Kong, right?
Yes, I've seen it. By the way,
if anybody hasn't seen it, I think it is on YouTube, but it is worth watching. And now, since that movie has come out, it's been proven that Billy Mitchell was a cheater, which makes it even funnier how in Pixels, Peter Dinklage's character gets caught out as cheating.
Yeah.
That's why I was segueing away that far, because it's so crazy that it's based more on Billy Mitchell than they even expected it to be.
Right. Oh, Melissa just said Punch Drunk Love is an Adam
Punch
Sandler. Drunk
Love. There was a horrible movie.
Yep.
But I'll tell you a funny story with it.
Go ahead.
It came out around the same time as Johnny English, starring Rowan Atkinson, who is best known as Mr. Bean. And I worked at Blockbuster when the movie came out, and everybody saw this cover. And if you look at the cover of Johnny English, and then you look at the cover of Punch Drunk Love, Adam Sandler's hairdo is exactly the same as Rowan. So I could see where people got this, but I remember this little kid came into the store and he saw Punch Drunk Love on the shelf and screamed to his mom, Johnny English! And he goes, Mom, can we get this? And they rented it. And I was like, trying to tell her, I tried to tell the mom, it's not what he thinks it is. And they went, listen to me, and they rented it. I unfortunately did not get to see the aftermath of that, but I can only imagine what that was.
I think the only thing I liked about Punch Drunk Love is when Adam Sandler and his girlfriend, I forgot who plays her, they're having a discussion about some things, about how he is, how his personality is, how he gets angry, whatever, and then she basically tells him, like trying to turn him on. What if I punch your face and like gouge your eyes out or something like that? It was a while ago since I've seen the movie, but it was. I think that was the only funny thing, because now they're going into a whole deep discussion.
Well, it wasn't meant to be a comedy. That was actually meant to be a drama.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying, but I think for me that was just a funny part. I always look for.
Oh, okay, because the way you said that was the only funny thing. I'm like, well, they weren't aiming for comedy.
No, I'm saying, but I always try to find some kind of comedy in every movie, whether it's a drama, a sci-fi, whatever.
And if you want the worst Adam Sandler movie ever, watch a movie called Going Overboard.
Ooh, I've heard about that. Haven't I seen it?
It's his first movie ever, and I unfortunately watched it because I thought it would be funny. And boy, was I wrong.
Yeah. Well, we all make that mistake with a movie or two.
Well, if you want Adam Sandler's best role ever, it's in the movie Airheads. Pip.
Yep.
The pool boy.
Yep. You remember?
I ain't farting on no snare drum, man. And my good buddy Ron Zombie is in that movie.
Yeah.
He didn't even mean to be in the movie. He was at a White Zombie concert. They came to the White Zombie concert to film, and he happened to be there. So there's a scene where Chris Farley, who plays a cop, walks into this nightclub where White Zombie's playing, called The Whiskey in the movie. I don't know if that's what it was called in real life. And he's just standing right there when he walks in. So he's right there, front and center on camera.
Wow. See, of course, I didn't know who he was at the time. You know
No,
what I
I
mean?
didn't either. And even now, it's like I wouldn't recognize him if not for his older pictures because he don't look like that now.
Yeah, yeah. I would have to like really look at the movie again.
He promotes it all the time. He
Yeah,
posts that clip, posts that image. He's so proud of that moment, and I don't blame him. I would be doing that too. I still show people the wrestler, and you can only see my hat. You can't even
right,
see my face, and I'm in the wrestler.
right. And I know
Because they went to Jersey All Pro Wrestling in Rahway, New Jersey, at the rec center, and I was there.
it's funny. It's funny. My buddy Bobby Rydell was one of the main agents.
Yeah, I'm friends with Bobby, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. No, but
Yeah, and I booked Bobby. Actually, it was who I booked Ted DiBiase through for that
that's what I
September
think.
28th show.
Well, when
That's
I
why Bobby was in the opening match. He brought Danbury and Johnny over to my show,
yeah,
and he managed Johnny in the match. They did the match against each other in the opening match.
yeah. No, well, Bobby and Johnny, well, Johnny's the pastor of a church in New York, and Bobby's one of the ministers in the church as well. So, and then of course, with Johnny's brother Joe, but good guys, all of them. But I remember when like I didn't meet Bobby at that show. I didn't meet him at all. I didn't meet him until later on when I was helping out at a Christian promotion, Genesis Pro Wrestling, and he
Well,
was
they left early. They had to leave early with Ted because they were going to another show in New Jersey that night.
yeah,
So that's why Johnny and Dan, Bobby had pitched to me to just have them go in the opening, and Ted would finish his signing, and all of them were getting in a car together and going.
yeah. No, but for me it was when I met Bobby. Like I said, it was at a promotion that I worked for. And long story short, what that was that I got really we don't talk as like that like we used to really, but because he's so busy. But I got nothing but good things to say about him, and him being the main booker for Genesis Pro Wrestling, getting all the boys and all of that, was it was just awesome to see him work. Awesome to know his history about how he started in the business, like and how he got into where he's into, and it would be really cool. It would be really cool to have him in an interview at one point, on the show.
Which is very possible. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I'm
Yeah,
sure you are as well,
yeah,
even.
yeah. I
And
think.
yeah, he's a really good guy, but he's also a very busy guy.
Oh
So
yeah, no, yeah, exactly. He would have to be on his.
he helps out with so many like whenever there's like a big problem with like a hurricane or
Mhm.
like when there was the big massive fires that took place.
Yep.
This guy goes out of his way with his church and every groups and all to freaking
Oh yeah.
do the funds and the fundraisers. He
Oh,
helps out with getting clothing drives. He just does so much humanitarian charity work. It's
oh yeah.
crazy.
Oh yeah.
He's such a great guy.
I mean, the schedule in general, the schedule in general. That I can remember
He would
where.
literally drop everything he's doing if it comes to like helping a cause.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that
Oh yeah. I
that to me has always been like why I'm like, man, this guy is such a great guy.
no, I remember at one point, and I'm not gonna say too much because this is his personal business. I remember at one point something happened, and he literally took a plane. I think he was in like Texas or something. He took a plane to come back to the East Coast to handle the situation that happened, and it's I got nothing but positive things to say about him all the time, and it's like I what else can you do? What else can you do but just say positive things about somebody like that?
And what an awesome last name to be that he shares his last name with the school from Greece.
Yep.
Different spelling, but it's same
Yeah.
pronunciation.
Yeah. I'm not.
And speaking of Greece, how's this for a segue?
Go
I
ahead.
planned this one. When I heard you talk about him, I planned this whole segue.
Yeah.
Speaking of Greece, you want to talk about bad movies? Grease 2.
Oh dear Lord.
Now, here's my thing with Grease 2, though.
I
I'm
hated
going to give
Grease
it some
1.
credit.
I hated Grease 1 too. Okay.
Well, I'm going there, too. Because Grease 1, I loved it as a kid. I still love the music. I will listen to that soundtrack whenever. Love it. I'll sing along. I know all the words to every song in that freaking movie. It's just, it does. I don't even try to sing along. It just happens. But man, watching that back as an adult, I realized how horrible that movie is written, because it shows that if you want to be accepted as a girl, you have to do whatever you want to please your man. And it's so horrible that Sandy has to change everything about herself to make herself attractive to Danny. And it's like, that's not the way it should go down. And then Danny's singing. Danny tries to freaking do sexual assault onto Sandy at the drive-in. She slams the door on him in his area, and he sings about how she's being mean to him for stranding him at the drive-thru. And the audience is supposed to be siding with Danny here.
It's not a good message.
I don't know.
It's not a good message.
But the second movie, gets a lot of heat, and it deserves it because the music is terrible, except for Cool Rider. I still get that in my head from time to time. But also, Michelle Pfeiffer is so good in the second one. And even Maxwell, oh man, what the heck is his name? Maxwell Caldwell, is that his name?
I think so, yeah.
I can't think of his name. The guy who plays the main character in that one. He's really good. And I like the whole motorcycle theme more than the cars for some reason. I thought that was good. So there's some good to the second one. And then Maxwell, he ended up in one of my favorite movies ever, which I hadn't even seen until I worked at Blockbuster. One of my bosses was telling, one of my managers told me about it, and now I'm like a fan for life of a movie called Empire Records. Have you seen Empire Records?
Unfortunately, no, I have not.
Oh my god, dude, you have to watch Empire Records. But Max is this character in that known as Rex Manning, and he's like a famous like singer that all the teen girls, the teeny boppers love, and he's coming to do an autograph signing at their record store even, and they're just like, it's Rex Manning Day. And Liv Tyler's in it, and there's like a scene where she tries to seduce Rex in her bra and panties. If that's not enough reason the movie to watch it. Also, Renee Zellweger's in the movie, and she's hilarious in this movie. And I just found out recently, which is crazy, because there's this one kid that's just absolutely off the walls, insane, psycho character. He reminds me a lot of Dean Ambrose. And then I found out, like, recently from a movie that I'm also going to review eventually, but not this year probably, but a movie called All I Want for Christmas.
Okay.
He was the main kid in that, and I was just like, wow, that blew me away, because this movie's like years later, you know? It's like 10 years later, and he's like grown up now, and it's like, wow, that's the same kid? Right. That kid's amazing. But yeah, Empire Records, definite recommendation. It's like a Clerks type movie to a degree, but not totally. Like, there's like this kid that's like stealing CDs, and they let him get away at first because they just can't believe what he's trying to steal. And then they just pull him in the back room, and like they keep him hostage till the cops get there, and he's like trying to become one of them, and he ends up getting a job by the end of the thing.
Wow.
It's so good. And like, the main plot isn't even any of that. It's about this kid that gets like the keys to lock up the store, and he gets this bright idea. This is in the trailer, so I'm not giving things away, but he gets this bright idea to take all the store's money out of the safe, go to Vegas, I think it's Atlantic City, I think he goes to, and he just puts all the money down on the roulette wheel and loses it all in one shot.
Oh, wow.
And the store is now about to be audited by the bank, and they don't have the money.
Oh, wow.
And it's just this crazy concept of what are we going to do to keep the store open? And they tell him even, we're going to be forced now to sell out, and you're all going to lose your jobs. And it's just this great coming of age movie that like all these different things is happening. Like I said, there's the plot line with Rex Manning. There's the plot line with Liv Tyler trying to act cool. Just so many things. If you haven't seen Empire Records, everybody needs to go see Empire Records.
I'm gonna have to know. I'm gonna have to know, for real. I'm gonna have to know. I gotta find it.
It's just so good. Like, there's this one character. I'm not gonna say what she does, but like, she drastically changes her whole appearance in the course of the movie.
Wow.
And it's like, what the heck? This movie is just so insane. It first hit DVD when I was at Blockbuster, and my manager was so excited about it. He's like, "Oh my god, Empire Records!" I'm like, "What's Empire Records?"
Yeah.
He goes, "You've never seen Empire Records?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Watch it."
You know what's crazy, because with the closing down of like Blockbuster Video and other video franchises, video rental franchises, because of streaming services like Netflix and whatever, it's like a lot of people, they're missing out on a lot of great movies, because a lot of times.
Absolutely, I say this all the time, man,
Yeah.
because they don't have somebody. I mean, yeah, the service will recommend you a movie, but they're not really recommending you a movie based on you.
Exactly.
Even when they say, "Oh, this if you like this movie, you'll like this movie," and then I'll look and I'll be like, that movie has nothing to do with that movie. How the heck can they recommend that?"
My favorite thing to do is when I was when I was working at Shaw Supermarket. Okay, I was working at Shaw Super. Right next to the Shaw Supermarket was it was a Hollywood video movie rental place, and then further down the road at another plaza there was a Blockbuster. My favorite thing to do when I would get paid on Fridays, I would I'll take my mom out to go, for lunch. Okay, I'll take my mom out for lunch, and then I would go and rent a movie from either Blockbuster or Hollywood Videos, and it was just, if they didn't have it that day, because there's a limited supply of the rentals from with every movie, and if it's a popular movie, right? So if they didn't have it, what they would do is that they said come back tomorrow, or they'll check it. They'll check the system. Okay, we should be getting it back by today at this point, whatever. But either way, there's so much variety. So like, I mean, I'm eclectic. I like everything from westerns to sci-fi to action, drama, whatever. And okay, with Netflix, okay, you get a nice variety of movies, but what about a lot of the movies that are even older than what they have now, that you can't find them anywhere? You got to try to go on YouTube or and whatever, and there's so much that really sucks about not having a Blockbusters or any kind of movie rental place. It's really terrible.
Absolutely, man. Browsing the aisles was part of fun,
Oh yeah.
because a lot of times you would go for your new movie,
Mhm.
they wouldn't have it, so then you'd browse the aisles and you'd discover something brand new that you would have never discovered,
Mhm.
and you'd rent it and you'd love it and be like, man. And then you would finally get the movie you wanted,
Mhm.
and then you would be like, man, the other one was better. Happened so many times. That's how I
No.
discovered It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, and
Yeah.
that now is in my top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Mhm. No, it's just one of those things, man. That I hope that there's a way to get it back. I hope
It's
there's a
never
way.
gonna happen.
Well, I
Never
mean,
gonna.
well, here's the thing. There are mom and pop shops.
There's a few, but
Right.
like I always said, if I still want to open one eventually. I
Mhm.
want to open one called Retro Video,
Mhm.
and just carry the older stuff that you can't get on like a Netflix or something.
Yep. Yep. No,
But
and that would be cool to have. And
the
have.
problem is
Okay.
today DVDs are going out, man. Like last time I went to Walmart,
Yeah.
there's down to like not even an aisle anymore. They're down to one shelf of DVDs. That's it.
Yeah. No, and you know what? It would have to be. I think if you do something uh like that, it you would have to make sure that everything's on Blu-ray or something. You
Well, one
could.
of the things too I talked about doing before was even when as my idea kept evolving
Mhm.
with the times was to do dinner and a movie
Yep.
where you could order a pizza
Yep.
and the movie,
Mhm.
and we'll deliver both to your door.
See, that'd be cool too. That'd be cool to do.
But now with streaming, people are like, I can just get that streamed right to my house and have DoorDash bring me a pizza. So,
Yeah, no, but it could still work, especially with
like
people that like
somebody
to rent
else
the
actually
movies.
tried the video delivery.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember Video Van Gogh.
I remember. Never tried it,
They
but I
didn't last
remember.
long. They didn't last long. But
But I still think
they
it.
tried it.
I think it's still possible. You just have to find out and figure out where you can be successful with that niche. With that niche audience, and I think you'll be able to do it. But or even if you do something where you start your own streaming service, you start your own streaming service where you just have nothing but retro movies that you can't find on Hulu, you can't find on Netflix, you can't find
There's a
on.
few of them out there, like on Pluto. They'll get a lot of older ones that I'd never heard of, even. And I
Uh,
actually discovered good ones recently, even that way.
Tubi TV
Um,
also has a good selection of older movies.
yeah, that's true. And those are free. That's
Mm,
the best part. But I discovered one that has Steve Martin.
mm.
I can't think of the name of it right now, though. But I think, oh, actually, I just thought of it. It was called Leap of Faith.
Oh, I remember that. That was a good movie.
Oh my God, this movie is so good on every level. And it's so well written that it's to the point because it's very religious, but it's also very mocking of religion,
Mm.
but then it's also very like actual religion. So it's actually made perfectly to the point where whether you are religious, an atheist, whatever you are, you will somehow connect with this movie.
It
And
comes.
that is brilliant.
It definitely comes full circle. It is a great commentary on a lot of these fake religious figures that they do.
To take your money, right?
Yeah,
And like
exactly.
the ending, especially though, where the rain's coming and you're like, wait, that could be that it's coincidence. So if you're atheist, you could believe that's coincidence. But
Yeah.
if you are of faith, you could believe, oh my God, God really did bring them the rain.
And
And
then
even Steve Martin's face in
exactly,
that gives
exactly,
that same message that, wait, is
exactly.
it?
It brings that little that little light of hope for Steve Martin's character.
And I don't want to give away the whole movie, but like the kid, even on the crutches,
Yeah,
his
yeah.
incident that happens.
No, yeah. I
And it's just
mean,
like, what? This movie is crazy. And it's hilarious too. Now, here's the craziest thing though, it wasn't supposed to be Steve Martin. There was
ooh,
somebody else up for that role that turned it down.
who was it? Jim Carrey.
Michael Keaton.
Oh, okay. No, it wouldn't have worked then.
I
I mean,
would have, that would have been a whole different movie.
yeah, it would have
And it would have still
been.
been good. It
No,
would have still been really good. And I
no,
would have liked to see both versions.
no. I. It would have been. It definitely would have been different. It wouldn't. It would have been
It would have been
different.
different because it can't be Steve Martin without Steve Martin.
Yeah,
Steve
exactly.
Martin
Yeah.
adds to his roles. Like, you know what? We're speaking of bad movies. I'll tell you a bad movie that's actually really good.
Uh-huh.
We were talking about bad movies that sometimes the actor could save.
Yep.
Um, for example, Eddie Murphy, Beverly Hills Cop. There's an example. That script, if you ever read it, is terrible. Eddie Murphy ad-libbed everything that you enjoy about that movie, and it
Yep.
became one of the best movies.
Yep.
But My Blue Heaven.
Mm.
Have you ever seen My Blue Heaven?
I have not.
Steve Martin and Rick Moranis. This is probably the worst script ever written for a comedy.
Mm.
And somehow, because of how good both of them are, this movie is really good. Steve Martin plays one, many people call it his best role.
Mm.
I tend to agree with my brother more that Steve's best role was Bowfinger.
Mm.
And I would put the jerk as like a second, really close second. I'd probably put My Blue Heaven at like fifth
Okay.
for Steve Martin.
Yeah, I would have to really watch that movie because
Because I'll tell you another really good Steve Martin one that does not get the credit it deserves.
Mhm.
Because again, it's another movie that's not that good, but because of Steve Martin, it's just amazing. Is Sergeant Bilko.
Oh no, Sergeant Bilko's good. Definitely.
If two people made that freaking movie, Phil Hartman and Steve Martin.
Oh yeah,
They made that movie.
Oh no, I will agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. I mean, Phil Hartman, may he rest in peace. I mean, he adds his own flair to it, just like Steve Martin, right? And it is both of them together in the same movie it wouldn't have been what it turned out to be. I think without those two, the movie would have flopped completely. Uh, even
I mean, it
more.
has its moments in the script,
Yeah,
but it drags too.
yeah,
In certain areas, it drags
yeah. I
because
think I think that's the
Glenn
only
Haiti,
negative to me.
Glenn Haiti is such a great actress,
Hmm.
but her whole storyline with Steve Martin,
Hmm.
it just drags on, and it's not entertaining at all.
I do agree
You
with
know,
that. I agree with that. Definitely,
but
definitely.
I love Glenn Haiti.
Oh,
I thought, especially in her best role, Dick Tracy,
oh yeah.
where
Oh
she
yeah.
plays Tess.
Definitely.
She's just so good in that. But and she also passed away.
Yeah.
But she was great in Getting Even with Dad. Dude, there's another bad movie that works because of the acting abilities.
Yeah.
There's so much good stuff in Getting Even with Dad that I can't believe it gets the crap it gets, that people don't like it. The one biggest problem with Getting Even with Dad, and this is why it's such a problem, why nobody even gives the movie a chance.
Yep.
The main character is Macaulay Culkin, and he could care less to be in the freaking movie.
Right.
He does not do anything good. He's the worst character in the movie, and he's the main character.
Yeah.
If he was replaced with any other kid, I guarantee you that movie would have been praised because it is so good. Ted Danson is great in the movie. He gets
Hmm.
brought down because of every scene he has with Macaulay,
Hmm.
he's trying to carry the scene. And let's face it, Ted Danson can't carry a scene. He's a great actor, but he can't carry a scene.
No, I agree. I agree with that. I think.
And but everybody else in that movie is just so freaking funny. I love that movie, and I hate Macaulay Culkin in it.
Mhm. Mhm. I think.
Like
I
the
think.
directors wanted him to cut his hair, and he refused to cut his hair even for the movie because he was trying to grow it long at the time.
Yeah, I think when during that time of his life, it was just he wasn't even giving a damn. He didn't want to be wherever he was. Whether it was a movie
But
or
people
a
made a
show.
joke before that I love to make as well because it's funny.
Hmm.
The not funny. It is and it isn't. I'm not trying to like say that wrong, but in My Girl, when his character is killed by the bees, they said that was the death of his career
Oh, okay.
because then he did movies like The Good Son and Getting Even with Dad and just all these
I
bad, The Page Master,
I thought the
all these
Good
bad
Son.
roles.
I thought the Good Son was decent for what it was. I thought it was
I'll
decent for
agree
what
to
it was.
disagree with you on that, but
I'm just saying. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying like it's the best movie ever. All I'm saying for what it was a decent movie. Decent, okay. And that's just me being nice.
I just got a text asking me what sequels that I think were better than the originals because earlier I did mention that earlier.
uh,
Sometimes a sequel is better than the original,
oh,
and I'll tell you one right off the bat:
uh,
Men in Black 3.
hmm.
I'll take your silence that you don't agree.
Again, it has to be. I have no opinion on it. I mean, I liked it.
Men in Black 3 is just such an amazing movie, but you have to see one first. Skip 2. Don't ever watch 2. 2 is not important whatsoever, and it's horrible. But watch 1 and then watch 3 because the stories do intertwine. 3 a lot. 3 is so amazing because it feels, and I know they didn't,
Mm,
but it feels like they knew they were going to do the story they did in 3 when they made 1.
mm. I think. I
And
think.
it's just so good to go along with it. You know what I mean?
I think with 3, it brought that little extra something that we didn't know we need. Especially.
That whole concept that all through the first movie,
Hmm.
we don't see why Tommy Lee Jones takes such a liking to Will Smith, but he keeps saying, "We need this guy. We need this guy," and you never understand why. And in
Exactly.
3
It brings it full
explains it.
circle.
That's why I said it's almost like they knew they were going to do 3
Yeah,
and they didn't
yeah,
have any plans.
yeah. It's like in 3 they bring it full circle. They bring it full circle, and
They explained
you
the whole
understand
first
it.
movie to us in the third movie. And
Exactly.
at the same time, because Tommy Lee Jones was not wanting to do 3,
Hmm.
and he didn't have to because they go back in time. So Tommy Lee Jones was out, and they brought in Josh Brolin, who does an amazing job playing Tommy Lee Jones.
They use Tommy Lee Jones did a voiceover. part on that.
No, that was Josh Brolin.
Hold on.
Josh Brolin did that whole role himself.
Hold on. Hold on.
He studied the mannerisms and the speech of Tommy Lee Jones to do that role. Tommy Lee Jones is in the opening and the ending of the movie, but all the scenes in the past is all Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin is great in the Goonies too, but
1 second.
he's researching, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't believe me.
No, I'm saying the voice. Josh Brolin did play K in the physical, but as far as the voice,
No, that was Josh Brolin's voice. Josh Brolin did his own voice. It wasn't Tommy Lee Jones' voice. He did it where it sounds so much like Tommy Lee Jones that you were fooled just like everybody else. But anyway, the only thing missing in 3, but I wasn't.
Keep talking, I'll look it up more.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But no, the only thing that was missing in 3, he was in 1, he was in 2, was Jeeves in 3. But it would have been better, I think, if he was the salesman who sold Will Smith the device to go back in time, as opposed to that other guy that they got. But the other guy they got was really good. It's just that it would have made more sense storyline-wise to continue, like, the continuality of it, to have Jeeves return again. So that was my only issue there with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Men in Black 3, definitely better than Men in Black and Men in Black 2. Men in Black 2 is one of those ones that I like to forget doesn't exist. I like to say, hey, that one don't exist. And not just because of Johnny Knoxville.
I mean, okay, it brings back K. It brings back K, but it really doesn't add anything to the story. You know?
Yeah. It's just so bad. Rosario Dawson is a light, and oh god, everything about 2 is so bad. Even the song for 2 was bad. The black suit's coming.
Yeah. Well, I guess they were expecting Will Smith to kind of do another song like what he did for the first movie. Not,
he phoned in that whole performance. It got to a point where he's just like, I don't want to do this movie. And you could tell.
It kind of reminds me of Eric LaSalle. It looks like he phones in all of his movies and TV shows.
There's a lot of guys who do. You know, and that brings me to what's going on with today's movies. Mm-hmm. It's gotten to a point where, I don't know if you're like this, mm-hmm. There used to be a time when if I saw an actor was in a movie or an actress in a movie, mm-hmm. That was enough for me to want to watch the movie without knowing anything else if I saw that person was in it.
Yep.
Now, those same people, even if they're doing a newer movie, mm-hmm. I don't care. I don't want to see it because they've let me down too many times now. Oh, like yeah. Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis, I used to watch anything he was in. Mm-hmm. Now, I can't stand anything that he's in. It's
right, like quick thing from Melissa. She says Blockbuster was, and she wrote this a minute ago. His Blockbuster was a huge part of my life. It was my family time, my employment, my hangout, and a large part of my fun. I miss it so much. And then she says, Scary 2 is better than 1. And then next is I like Ghostbusters 2 more than 1, but I love both. Well, she
loves Ghostbusters 2 more than 1. Wow, I'm shocked to hear that. I agree with that, but I didn't think that she agreed with that. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Scary Movie 2 better than Scary Movie 1. Ugh. I hate Scary Movie 2. I can't say that, but I will say Scary Movie 3 was better than Scary Movie 1.
Well, I think it's a tie.
Scary Movie 3 is just so funny.
for me, 3 and 1 are a tie. 3
was by the Zuckers. It was the first one without the Wayans. Mm-hmm. But all of the stuff parodying Signs was great. Mm-hmm. Even the way the aliens, they pee in your mouth out of their fingers. It's just like so absurd and funny at the same time.
You know the woman that played the cop for for when they were doing the parody of Signs in the movie.
The parody of Signs was Scary Movie 3.
No, that's what I'm saying. But at Scary Movie 3, do you know the woman who played the cop when they were doing the science parody with Charlie Sheen's character?
I haven't seen the movie in so long that I don't remember.
All
Oh
right.
wait, was that Denise Richards? No, she played Charlie Sheen's wife who gets crushed by the truck.
Yeah. So okay, in that part of the scene where she gets crushed by the truck and there's the cop is talking to Charlie Sheen's character, right? Who's parodying Mel Gibson. The woman who plays the cop that says, "Hey, look, your wife, has been cut in half and blah blah blah," she originally auditioned for the role of the female cop in the movie Signs, but she never got it. So when she got the opportunity to play the cop for the parody, she took it.
For the parody. That's funny. I think the funniest line in the history of any parody, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
and Melissa and I's friend Jean, who sadly passed away, she would agree with this because she quoted this all the time to me, and all even is in Hot Shots. They kill off the girl, and then in Hot Shots Part 2, she shows up, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And
Yeah.
she goes, "I had to come back. It's the sequel." That's the funniest line in any
Definitely.
sequel ever.
Definitely.
I
I
had
agree.
to come back. It's the sequel.
Yep. That was just that's too funny that nothing can really match it at all.
And I think the most quotable line in the history of any parody movie
Uh-huh.
is, "Surely you can't be serious." Of course I'm serious. And don't call me Shirley.
That's another one.
They even named the DVD of that movie the Don't Call Me Shirley edition.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh man. Look, it's about to be 9:20. So
Yeah, I see that. We're going to be wrapping up shortly here. I was paying attention.
yeah.
Um, Jim, by the way, quotes that movie all the time, Airplane, with, have you ever seen the inside of a Turkish prison? He quoted it like 3 times during his last broadcast, by the way, during the experience.
Yeah.
But Airplane 2, there's a horrible movie.
Oh yeah. No. No. Eh. I, I got no words for how bad it is. You ever get that way that there's a movie that's so bad you just have no words and all you can do is just go ugh, like you want to throw up.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
That, to me, I say it all the time, is the most disappointed I've ever looked in the history of, and my brother said that when you see my face. He goes, "I've never saw you look so disappointed in your life," because I had such high hopes for that freaking movie. The minute they signed Chris Cooper to play Norman Osborn,
Yeah.
I was just like ecstatic, like, oh my god, the possibilities. And they put him in a coma, so he can't talk.
Yeah.
And then he talks for a second and dies. And I said, "What the heck did they do?" It'd
Yeah.
be like
They.
signing freaking like Andre the Giant
Mhm.
to wrestle the Big Show,
Mhm.
and then Andre is like sleeping during the match, and Big Show like goes and gets him a pillow.
Yeah.
That would be the match.
No. No. I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. I
And
mean, come on.
everything about that movie, even Jimmy Fox as Electro, why did he become a villain? It's not explained. Because Spider-Man forgot his name, he decides to kill everybody,
You notice that the
and they're
makeup.
bringing it back.
Yeah, you notice that the makeup that they put on him, or whatever it was that they put on him, it's
It
like,
wasn't even makeup, because when the pictures came out in New York City of him walking the streets,
huh?
he was wearing a hoodie with flashlights.
Okay, okay,
His makeup was CGI.
okay. No, that's what I figured because I was like,
Yeah, he just had flashlights on his regular face.
yeah,
Because they filmed all these scenes in New York City, and paparazzi had pictures.
hmm
And yeah, they were like, "I hope that's not what the costume's gonna look like."
no, yeah, no. It's just like it must have been CGI or something. I was just like,
Yeah, it was all CGI. It was horrible.
yeah,
That's the other problem that I had with that movie. Why is everything Spider-Man does in slow motion?
yeah,
It's like, okay, I get it. I hate the Matrix for bringing that technique, because as cool as it is, too many people overdo it.
oh yeah,
It doesn't need to be done for everything.
oh yeah. It's like what was that movie? No, that video game that came out. that they started using that bullet time as
A
as
lot of games did that. Are
but
you
like,
talking about Hitman?
yeah, Hitman, like that was like what the first game that started using it, and it was like when
I'll
it
tell
came.
you when it's the funniest thing though to use it is
Mm,
in Super Mario Strikers
yep.
for GameCube.
Mhm.
It's a soccer game, and sometimes when you hit the ball, it'll go to that mode,
Mhm.
and it's just so funny because like it when the ball missed once, Kenny and I were playing it once, and then we missed the shot, but it was in slow motion like that, and you just hear them go, "Oh no!" It's just so funny.
I mean, to be honest, it's like there's good uses for it. There are good uses for it, but when it's overly done and so many different movies, video games, TV shows, whatever, you get tired of it. It's too much of
Like
a
I
good
said earlier
thing.
about Chris Tucker's acting.
Hmm. That's exactly what it is. It's too much of a, I guess, too much of a good thing or too much of whatever. I don't know how you would want to say it. It's too much. It's too much. You
But yeah,
become
we could talk about
oversaturated.
movies all day, and we will eventually as well. We will get into more movies.
Hmm.
Eventually, we'll do a Spider-Man chat. I think all about different Spider-Man renditions. That'll be a fun week.
Definitely, definitely.
But have you heard about what's going on with the NXT? Did you hear what they're doing for their upcoming takeover show?
Yep, yep, yep. They're gonna be naming it something special.
They're bringing back WCW's Halloween Havoc brand, which has been the most requested name to bring back
Yep.
over the years. WWE has done this poll for like the last 20 years.
Hmm.
What WCW brand name would you like to see return? And myself and everybody else voted Halloween Havoc to the point where they even released Halloween Havoc t shirts,
Hmm.
but they never gave it back to us. They would not give us that name. And now NXT is doing it.
Hmm.
NXT's Halloween Havoc. So, in light of that, I want to remind everybody the good, mostly bad,
Hmm.
but always entertaining Halloween Havocs of past in WCW. The Halloween Havoc brand ran
Hmm.
from 1989, which to me is the greatest WCW pay per view of all time. I know nobody will agree with that, but it ran from 1989 to the year 2000 with the final one, which was one of the worst pay per views of all time.
Thank
And
you, Russo.
we will discuss most of what happened at each of those shows, what was good, what was bad, what was iconic that will never be forgotten.
Hmm.
We will discuss all of that next week right here on the broadcast. So you want to tune in to hear that. That will be our main discussion as there's a lot to cover. Like I said, from 1989 to 2000, we're only going to cover the highlights. We're not going to cover the really absurd stuff that just didn't matter on these shows,
Hmm.
like the Cuban Assassin versus Tommy Rich. We will not be covering that, but we will cover the good stuff that you remember,
Hmm.
like the double sting angles 3 different times during this show, the Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan, #2.
Hmm.
Yes, all of these things that happened, we will cover them next week right here on the show. If you have any questions regarding Halloween Havoc or any comments that you want us to talk about, remind them where can they send them?
You can send them to whatsgoingdowntoday@gmail.com. Or you can click on the link to the Discord, sign up for our Discord server, and feel free to contact us right in the Discord. I will be sure to answer your questions in the podcast, as well as for those who are listening to this, who are not listening live, and are listening on the replay. Write in the comment section your questions, and I'll be looking it over throughout the week, and I'll be sure to write the question down, and we'll answer it next week.
And again, remember that you can also send in your pictures of yourself and your family and your pets dressed in costume for us to show on the air on October 31st on our live Halloween video chat that we will do. We will do our show, but it will not be a radio broadcast. It will be live video. You will see myself and CT Bishop in costume that night, and you can come and join us in on all the fun that we have in store for that night. Are there any questions on today's show that we did not get to?
Nope, doesn't look like it. Just a couple comments. Nothing in the email. Nothing in the Discord yet. So, but
Did you have any final thoughts? Did anybody give comments that were bad that we need to improve on?
no comments on anything bad. But you know what? As far as final thoughts on my end, you know what? I'm still tired. I'm still tired, and hopefully next week I'll be more energetic than I am today.
So it will be his final thoughts indeed, because it will be his final thoughts before he goes to bed.
Yeah.
And yeah, next week, get your stuff ready, do your research, because like I said, we're gonna discuss Halloween Havoc, and it is one of my favorite shows of the year,
Mhm.
right up there with the Raw Rumble.
Definitely, definitely.
And we